Hello, guys. I am on air now. I'm actually going to add my guest in at this moment. Just give me a second to do that. And I'll just wait for my guest to come through. All right, while I'm waiting on Aaron to come on, hopefully I'm doing this right. I might have to try to add him. We're actually going to be talking a little bit of about everything tonight. It'll be a good show. Usually I am doing a podcast live on Vibe Radio Network. I've been taking a little break this December, and I thought it would be a good time to actually, I don't know, just to do something a little different. Again, just bear with me just a second while I see where Aaron is.
Hello.
Hey!
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
I'm so glad you're with me tonight. I'm excited about this.
Absolutely.
Yay! Okay, guys, so a little bit about me. I run Vibe Radio Network. I have my own podcast on there called Rising from the Ashes Radio. For you guys who are new to me, I'm an intuitive healer. I'm a paranormal investigator of 6 years. I do a little modeling on the side, a little bit of everything. Aaron is a really good friend of mine. He moved away from me, but I see him on the screen now.
Yeah. I'm here now.
Yes, you're here now. And you know what? I've been connecting with Aaron. It's kind of one of those things I feel like spirit kind of led us to each other. And just to connect and be able to learn from each other and to grow as healers. And I'm excited because Aaron has just really started to come to terms with being a healer. And I've been helping Aaron for months now whenever he needs me to get along on his path. So Aaron, before I get talking about myself some more, I want to hear about you. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, where do I start? I'm kind of new to this. Holly's really been my rock, I guess, kind of. She really introduced me to the spiritual aspect of things, and at first I was kind of skeptical, and kind of like, this scares the hell out of me. And then I was like, okay, so we'll see where this goes. And then wham, it hits me all at once. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just give into it. And yeah, it's kind of been a crazy past few days because it's really, I really opened up a lot more. It's like spirits just keep coming through to me a lot heavier than they ever have before. And met my spirit guide. I've seen my past life. It's just kind of all flooded in at once. So I'm just like, oh my God, how do I process it all? So,
it can be very hard to process, and Aaron, your story is completely different than mine, but I think it's good to tell people as well what you do on the side. That kind of, that was a big part of you awakening into the healer that you are.
Definitely. I guess really what started it was, obviously meeting you, Holly, was, that was spirit led. That was meant to happen. But I think really practicing martial arts, like I did Tai Chi, and tapping into your vital energy and becoming sensitive to that is really what opened everything up. And then it was just like from there, it grew and it just started to grow. And
Yeah.
so now here I am.
I think it's funny because we've had all kinds of conversations on the back porch of the summit, and that's a
Absolutely.
local book. That's a local. First, let me back up and tell you how me and Aaron officially met. Okay, officially. He had too many drinks one night, and
Absolutely.
he was Magic Mikeing me. He was like all over me, and I was like, ah. But
That was it.
after that, it was fate, though. He had to get drunk that night and humped all over me.
Yeah, that's just, that's that goddess in you, Holly. That's
Yes, it is the goddess in me. No, we've had many conversations on the back porch of the summit about this, and we've done actually, and Aaron can tell you this, is usually when I get there, I end up on the back porch doing readings or, healing sessions, or having these deep conversations. I don't know what it is about the bar, I guess because there's wandering souls there, but, just like with Aaron, I think that a lot of people don't realize that when you practice Tai Chi and these other martial arts or yoga, meditation, all this, it opens up your spiritual side. The calcification of the third eye starts kind of fading away, and the spirit realm kind of floods in. And it can be hard for some people to accept. It can be hard for some people to recognize what's going on. Luckily, Aaron's like really easy person to work with because you understand the metaphysics. You understand the spiritual through Tai Chi and what they have taught you. And, meditation and grounding yourself, you've already learned all that. So I always feel like we are on the path that spirit gives us, and Tai Chi
absolutely.
was your step into that.
Mm-hmm. It's always been easy for me. I mean, even before martial arts, before Tai Chi, I've always sensed things. I've saw things. I've heard things. I've had experiences, and living in the area we lived in Kentucky that you still live in is like not so accepted, and it's like you kind of, so like you said, you kind of shut off yourself to the spiritual world. You close your third eye. You didn't even really know I had one, to be honest.
Right.
And then I met Holly, and I found all kinds of things I didn't know I had. So it's like, hey.
So I'm guilty for that. I think one of the last times that we were together, you were like, there's some guy in there. How was that? There was a guy there that wasn't really there.
Oh my God, yes. I was like, okay, so I will tell the story because I've told this story to 100 other people because it blows my mind. Like even today, it's we got to the bar and I didn't even got in the bar yet. I was on my way to the door and I saw this guy, and I can remember everything that he had on, everything he was wearing. He had glasses, he had gray hair, he had blue jeans on and a blue shirt. He looked real. Like this guy was real to me, and I didn't know any different. So I just assumed that he was with you guys because you guys came and done the reading and everything at Summit City. So I just assumed he came with you. For some reason, it was like I had this overwhelming feeling that he was part of you, and so that's why I came to you and was like, is this your friend, or like is this your spirit friend? At that point, I was just, I thought he was real, so it kind of freaked me out. And so I was like, okay.
Yeah, you was completely freaked out, and
I was very freaked out.
You was freaked out after we got to know each other on that level, and you started feeling the energy yourself. You started, channeling, and then feeling energy around you, and not fully understanding at the time what was going on. You just knew it was freaky shit, and it's always around Holly.
Absolutely, absolutely. Holly, you were like this hot spot for activity, and it's like you know, and I think anytime, and I've learned this, and it's been through, my experiences with you. Anytime you have more than one person that is around that's open to those kind of things, that are willing to let that energy in, it's like a magnet for cosmic energy, and it's like every possible energy that's anywhere in the universe is right there at once. And that's kind of how I felt the first time, because you were open and your friend was open, and there was other people there that was open, and I was going, what do I do? So,
It is true, and that's very spot on. And I think, yeah, I mean, people who are more spiritually open, or who are about to, or on the path of spiritual awakening, will always find their teachers. And I feel like that's why we met, is because I was supposed to help you along your path. And that doesn't mean I'll always be there. I mean, I'll end up being your student one day, I'm sure, but we're always learning, we're always teaching. And that's the beautiful thing about spirituality, and connecting with spirit and other people at a different level of our higher self. I'm so sorry. There's dogs barking in the background. This is love. We're good now. Go ahead. I'm good now. That's my youngin. Okay. But anyway, you're not the only person that I've met in this area, which is a big deal for us in this area. Because you tend to think that there's not many of us around, but they actually are. A lot of us, or a lot of other people, are afraid of coming out of the closet on it. They're afraid of being judged. But me, I'm like, judge me, I don't really give a shit. I'll do my thing, I'll be me. So
that's why I love you, Holly. That's why I love you.
Yeah, it's been a ride for me, but I've never really worried about judgment on my part, because I started awakening almost 11 years ago. Mine was quite different because it was unexpected. At that time in my life, I thought that there was, only certain people that had abilities. You were born with it. It wasn't a bloodline. Now I completely think opposite of that. I believe we are all spiritual beings, and we're supposed to, a lot of us are supposed to awaken to our higher self. Some of us are just not spiritually mature enough, which we'll get into later, because I know we've talked about this, Aaron. Me and your views on this is the same. And it's funny, because when you get people who are spiritually enlightened to a certain level, we all are on the same wavelength when it comes to our opinions and our theories on things, and we don't even communicate that. It ain't like we've talked about it and then we agree with each other. We have the same views of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's just so much, it's like a whole new world.
It is. It's
I really don't
amazing.
I don't know how to explain it. It's like I said, the last I don't know, 2 or 3 days, it's just been like whammo, because like I told you earlier, I met this lady I don't know where at work. I take care of her mother, and she's like, come over, let me talk to you. And I said, okay. So she says, let me see your hand. And, okay. I was kind of freaked out. I really think about it, unless I'm around you, I don't think about, that. But, and then she says, that you're a healer. And I said, no, not really, but kind of, I guess, so. And then she's like, well, yeah, you are. And that's kind of where the conversation ended there. And then after that, it's like, like I said, I find out who my spirit guide is, which was kind of off. Do you remember, I don't know if you remember the guy that we talked to.
Aaron.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you lost me for a second. But yeah,
No.
that guy, and I thought about him whenever I met my guide, because, and it was weird. I was brushing my teeth and I looked up in the mirror and it was like kind of like you kind of see him in the spirit, and it's like, oh, what? What's this? Yeah. So yeah, and I'm like, okay. So, and then today while I was meditating, I find out not only that he's a Nordic spirit, but he's specifically from Iceland. Like he's specifically from that island, that Nordic island, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then it just went from there. It just went to a totally different level. You and I kind of talked about that, and it was like, wow,
Yeah.
what is this?
You know what? I kind of envy you, because the way that you're coming along on your path is so fast, and I wish I would have had someone like myself, which I'm not being like egotistic or anything, but someone as knowledgeable as myself to have to talk to and to encourage, because I feel like that I would have embraced my healing path a long time ago. Because when I
Right.
first started awakening, it was scary. It was OBEs, which is out of body experiences. I was seeing shit, hearing shit, and my bed was shaking. I thought my bed was shaking. Now, of course, I know 11 years later, I've researched my ass off and have a better understanding of what was happening. I was having out of body experiences, and of course, the bed shaking was my body vibration, energy settling in my body before I was going outside my body. I've seen scary stuff in the astral. So, I mean, I've been through a lot on my path to understand who I am. When I started meeting people who became my teachers, I know who were teachers. Some of them I don't have nothing to do with anymore. Some of them are just assholes, and, they had to be my teacher for, damn it, temporarily. But,
Right.
everybody has a lesson. Everybody has a teacher. So when I started meditation, the second time that I tried meditating, my hands started getting extremely hot, and I didn't understand what was going on. I had people that was in kind of like in my circle that I relied on for information. And they told me that I was a healer. And I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not working with the living. By this time I had been investigating for 2-3 years. So, it's like I had these experiences in 2006. I didn't start into the paranormal until 2010. So, that's a big gap between, because I didn't think of it coinciding with each other. I mean, I did, but I didn't
Right.
until I really got into the paranormal. And I mean, although it is one of the reasons that I wanted to get into the paranormal, because I wanted to educate other people on the fact that it's just not this residual or intelligent hauntings. There's so much more to it. And once I started meditating and opening up, my hands started heating. I started hearing shit and seeing shit, and not shit, but you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I just started growing and growing and growing, and then finally last year I started really accepting the fact that I'm a healer. And then this year I have stepped out and said, here I am. And next year I'm so looking forward to, but I'm always growing. Speaking of meditation, Aaron, you have found your spirit guide pretty quickly and understand pretty quickly. My spirit guide, who I think is no longer around me, was around me since I was little, and I think for that reason too. But I didn't even know he was around. Like if I have a spirit guide around me, I usually don't know they're around unless I'm in meditation, or if someone else tells me that they're there, and then I'll try to connect with them. I remember someone had told me, multiple people told me there was a male around me, and I was like, well, I've never had any experiences. At that time, I didn't understand, spirit guide. You don't have experiences with, they're there to help you. But I meditated that night before I went to bed, and I said, if there is a male around me and you are my spirit guide, can you tell me your name? And then instantly, he popped up in my head, John, and I just kept it to myself because at the time I had a lot of self-doubt. That's the biggest thing that we
Right.
struggle with as, being awakened or having any kind of gifts at all is self-doubt. But
Absolutely. And I think that's what really holds you back is not really accepting who you are and your gift. And to be honest with you, Holly, I have no idea why it all happened so fast for me. It's like, I wasn't even thinking about spirit guide. I wasn't even thinking about anything really. I was just getting ready for work, and it was like, whammo, here he is. And it was like, I guess because I don't know if there's an urgency for me to get to a certain point of my gift or what it is necessarily yet. But yeah, it's like completely like overwhelming because it all just kind of came at me at once, and then all these spirits started to come forward, and I'm kind of like, okay, take a deep breath and take one by one. And then actually I had, and I need to tell you this before I move on. I don't think that the male is around anymore. I think the female has replaced him. I think I think that's what it is, because
yeah,
she's pretty stern. She's territorial. Um she doesn't like anybody invading your space. She doesn't like that at all. But
yeah.
I think that's what's going on there. Um, but what was I going to say? Now you done got me off track. See, you got to quit that, Holly.
No, I mean,
um,
it needed to be said. Because I have not connected with her yet. And, we had talked about this. I went to
oh yeah,
Iowa.
forever ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had told me that, I see a woman in white around you. And when I went to Iowa and spoke, there was a guy there who kept saying, Holly, I loved your speech. And I'm like, okay, thank you. That means a lot, which it meant a lot to me. I meant going all the way to Iowa to speak, and having someone who loved my speech, even though I pulled it out of my ass because, it didn't happen the way it was supposed to. But he said, he kept telling me that over and over. And then, I left the next day and I got a message on Facebook from him. And he again told me that how much he loved the speech. And he said, I want to be honest with you. While you was speaking, there was the most beautiful. He said, the only way that I could explain it is maybe an angel light standing behind you is huge. And the whole time he was speaking, it was there, and it wasn't there for anybody else's speech. So, it's details are slowly coming out to me. And, along with, which Aaron knows this about me, and anybody really knows that has been around me, along with her comes a, how can I say this?
Attraction.
Very much so. Attraction and high sexuality, which I've always been that, kind of person, but now it's more intense and really, really intense. Oh my God. So
I think that kind of covers me on the drunken stupor when we first met. I think that's what happened. I'm blaming it on her. I mean, that's what it was. No, but I was going to tell you, and actually, it's been kind of, like I said, and I know I keep saying this over and over, but I mean, it's just really overwhelming because you get everything coming at you at once. With my second job, actually, there is a lot of activity there, but one in particular, spirit. Um, we had one that I got rid of, but there's one that came back, and I'm not 100% sure. We just had a patient to pass away, I don't necessarily think that it's him. I think that there was something attached to him. It's a very
Oh,
negative energy. It's not it's not good. So I kind of, and I don't know if this is bad of me or not, but I kind of closed myself off to that because
no,
I'm not sure how to handle that yet. Because
no. That's not bad at
it's
all,
like
Aaron.
doors slam, and I hear voices, and it's just really eerie. And I can walk to that room, and I've done it just just to kind of get a feel for what's going on around me and in the spirit world. And I'll walk to the room, and then it's like I don't even get close. Like I don't even get 20 feet from the room, and my hands start to heat up. I mean, they just get
Mm,
so hot, and I can feel like my whole body just start to tingle. And like then when
yeah,
I get closer, it's like an overwhelming dread, fear kind of thing, and I'm trying to push that away because emotions really screw with what your abilities and what you can do. So if you let
oh,
that in and disrupt that, that can really mess with you. So I'm just kind of like, no, no, thank you. So I kind of try to stay away from that entity until I figure out why it's there and what he wants necessarily, because
yeah.
it's
Well,
very angry, it's very vengeful. I'm just not sure how to deal with it yet.
right. And you know what? That's absolutely the right thing to do. You're doing awesome and you're doing the right thing. I mean, it's amazing to watch you grow so quickly. And I think that, um, you're going to be like, you're just going, I mean, you're already an awesome person. And I can just see you, and you're doing good with reading people too. Um, you do really good. And when we're together, I think, me and you click very good. So me and you's like playing off each other, our energies playing off each
Absolutely.
other.
Absolutely.
So, so it's amazing to watch.
Oh, and you know what? I think this would be a good time to talk about that too. Is the first time I ever read anybody in particular, and we were at Summit. I don't know why at Summit. It always happens at the bar. I don't know, but the lady, the Cherokee lady,
Yes, she's an
she
artist.
came out and like, yeah, you were down there talking to somebody. I think you were talking to her husband, and it was like all at once you get this overwhelming feeling like I knew her grandmother was with her. I knew she was a healer. I knew she was more of a medicine woman type
Yeah.
healer, not so much um, anything else. But I mean, she was there and she was attached to the jewelry that she was wearing. And I remember being so afraid to say anything because I didn't know what to do. And I was like, and I told you that. I'm like, what do I do, Holly? Like, what do I say to this woman?
Right.
So, but I did. I came out of my shell a little bit with your help. And it was crazy, crazy, crazy.
I think
But I,
it's hard. I mean, I know. I mean, it's hard to get over the self doubt. I'm like, what do I say? Like, like I'm sorry. I'm a pushy person anyway. So when I see someone who's growing and like ready, I tend to be like, oh, just do it, just say it. I can't stand when someone doesn't say something to someone. I was at one of my boys' school meetings, and I was sensing. I mean, there was a spirit there with us, and
mhm.
I just asked them bluntly. I was like, "Listen, y'all probably gonna think I'm crazy, but I do this. Y'all know I do this." And there's a lady here, and she's redheaded, and blah 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 blah. The three teachers that was in there denied it and didn't know anyone by who I described, but one of the female teachers, because there's two males and one female teacher in there, and she looked at me like she just saw a ghost. So I think
Mhm.
she knew. I think she knew, but I just think that it's
Absolutely.
just taboo to
And
talk about.
that really, I still struggle with um telling certain people or really putting it all the way out there, but I'm working on that. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
I
you're
think
doing
it's
good
really
though.
terrible. I think it's really terrible that you could tell somebody something and you know that they know exactly what you're talking about, and they look at you like you're so stupid, like, nah, I don't know what you're talking. And I'm like, okay, first of all, yeah, you do, because you can't lie to me. I can see right
Right,
through you. It's like, how can
right.
you can't lie to me? I mean, like, you really think you're getting away with this, but you're not. So I
Exactly.
don't know.
Well, I think, and this is the thing, it's like when you're spirit led, there's no wrong information.
Hmm.
There's a difference between being spirit led and being ego led, and they are people out there who do this stuff that are ego led. I mean, they work from their ego, and you can usually tell because there's some very potent, nasty people, negative people who work in this field, or in the paranormal field, and not in in the metaphysics too. They don't have good intentions. Their intentions are not pure.
Or they're in it for the money. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
don't need, I don't need any money to be able to tell you things that come to me or whatnot. I mean, it's that's not. I'm not gonna make a killing doing anything like that's not what I want to do with my life. I'm a healer. I work in the medical field. That's what I do. That's my destiny. I know that. You know, that's
yeah,
that's it for me. But this is a gift that everybody is able to tap into that um,
yeah, they
spiritual
are
world. Everybody's able to,
absolutely.
and they do. That's what really gets me, Holly, is because you hear people, well, I had deja vu. I've done this before, or I
Hmm.
had this dream, and wow, it came true. Like it's like it's I've been there, I've done that, and it's like that's because yeah, I don't know. I just get really frustrated because it's like the world is so closed off
Yeah,
to the metaphysical aspect of the world. It's just like I don't know. I don't get it.
it is. They are. But you know what? I've come to learn that not everybody is spiritually mature enough to understand in this lifetime that they're living, uh, and that's when the past lives reincarnation stuff comes in. At first, a while ago, I mean a few years ago, I was like, I don't know about reincarnation. I've never experienced anything, and I'm usually the type of person where I'm like, unless I experience it, or really like spirits laid it out in front of me, then I'll be iffy on it, but I'll be open minded to it. So
Right.
but I absolutely do believe that reincarnation has a lot to do with spiritual maturity. Of course, when you get deeper into it, we make our own contracts uh, when our soul leaves our vessel, whether we want to come back here and learn more. And I can understand that because there are some very immature spiritually immature people. You could
Hmm.
have a 12-year-old boy who is way more spiritually mature than a 90-year-old male that, and yeah, who's a preacher and been in the church his whole life. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes down to it, it's not about religion. That's one thing that I've learned along my path, and I feel so strongly about. I hate labels, and I
Absolutely.
hate. I not. I don't hate, but I meant religion's not me. I don't. That's a label to me, and it's also confining yourself. I'll tell you something. I seen a friend post something about something that witches do, and of course, everybody puts me in the witch zone, and that's fine with me because I embrace a little bit of everything. Um, I'm very Native American drawn. If anything, I'm more shamanistic than anything. But some like witch up on her high horse was like, oh, but this and that and this and that. And I was like, you know what? You might be more open minded than most Christians, but you're still taking your religion and you are using it as a, uh, oh, look at me. I'm a witch.
Right.
They take the name witch or whatever it may be, and they think they're a badass.
Well,
But
that's the thing
honestly,
though. Uh, and a lot of people will classify you and I in that bracket because they think because you are able to connect with the spiritual world that you practice Wicca or paganism or something like. But that's not the fact at all. When in fact it's just a simple gift, and we're able to say, okay, I can sense the presence of so and so, or I know this is going to happen before it happens. Like, um, yes, oh, actually, it was a couple of days. No, it was a day ago. I was at work, and a patient asked me to come into his room, and he said he had pain in his leg. And so, of course, my hands heat up automatically. That's just part of it. I'm a healer. That's what happens. I get that now, Holly. I
yeah.
understand that now. And so I said, okay. And of course, in martial arts, I learned a little bit of acupressure, not a whole lot. It was mainly my energy that stopped his pain, but I told him it was acupressure. Um, and so I just laid my hands on him and touched a few spots that I knew to touch. And then he said, wow, that went away. I said, yeah, I know. And I know it went away from him. He never complained of pain the rest of the shift that I worked. So
It's
it was
amazing.
it was pretty cool.
It is cool. It makes you feel really good. I've done some, man, I've done some I've done some physical work, but a lot of mine is spiritual. I actually saved a marriage. Well, they was
Uh,
actually divorced, to be honest with you, and they have rekindled their love for each other, which is amazing to watch because they're both my Facebook friends. They're a married couple, or well, divorced, but dating divorced couple. He had the husband actually had a attachment, and it's almost like it looks like this big like face hugger on his back, and he was wearing this like it's like a backpack. You know what I'm saying? Like he had been carrying it for so long.
mm,
So the first healing session that I had with him, he was in his office at work. It was crappy because he couldn't relax. And, one of the things that you want for your clients is to be able to connect with them. They'll get the healing regardless, but to have that connection on, a deeper level where you can actually come in and be that intimate, spirit-wise, they need to be in a very quiet setting, especially, and they're all distant. Most of my healing sessions are distant sessions, which I love to do, to be honest with you, because I do it from my bedroom. I open sacred space. I'll go in and do my thing, but I remove the attachment, and I think I done one more healing session after that. He wanted that because it was security for him. And
right.
then I done a healing session on his wife. And it was amazing because she's psychically open. And when I told her, I said, okay, I'm coming in. She said, I always tell my clients, let me know what you're seeing. Let me know what you're feeling. Just say it out loud, even if I'm not asking you. She said, you're here. And I said, yeah, I'm there. She said, when I started working on her, she had all these childhood past issues, insecurities and stuff. And, for me, and you pull that out from them. And it's like you're pulling them out from their head because that's where they hold on to that
Right.
energy. I'm not good enough. All these words started coming out. And it's like I was pulling it out. And she told me what I was doing while I was doing it. And she had no idea, of course. I never said anything.
Wow.
She said it was like he was pulling all this stuff from me. And I was like, man, that's so amazing because I know I'm doing it. I know I'm there distantly. She said you was dressed in white, this white dress. And I was like, you're right. And it's amazing to connect with someone who's psychically open, who
Mm-hmm.
can connect even better with you to explain all these feelings around them. I don't know. It's an amazing feeling to work with people, to heal people. And, going back to I do charge for sessions, but I don't charge for sessions that Spirit has gave me. And the only reason I do that is because if you openly come out as a healer, you get bombarded. And for me to
Absolutely.
grow as a healer, that's my energy. That's my personal energy. I don't want just any Joe off the street wanting to say, I want to see if she's full of shit or not, wanting a healing session. That's a waste of divine energy, and Spirit will probably kick your ass to the curb anyway through me.
Right.
Yeah. I'm
Absolutely.
just,
I found out too,
so
and that's
yeah.
what one of the things I wanted to share with you was actually the stone that you told me that um, my spirit gave
Citrine.
you was
Citrine. Yeah.
yeah, actually I started to research that, and for some reason, like, I don't know, I get this feeling that there's like and I'm not trying to put, I don't know, I'm just gonna say it how I feel it, okay? It's
Okay.
like a higher being kind of um leading you, guiding you, giving you wisdom, kind of like
Yep. Absolutely.
I don't know how to explain it, but then I go and I look at the stone and I start reading about it, and it actually says uh celestial wisdom is leading you, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. So,
Yeah.
and I wanted to ask you more about that part of it, like,
Okay. Oh,
because
yeah.
I
Okay.
really don't understand. Okay, that's something I don't want to be like. Um, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Just help me clarify what I'm feeling.
Okay. So, are you okay? Well, let me back up. And you talked about the stone about the stone readings. And for anybody who has heard me say I do crystal readings, Spirit gives me a crystal that you should be using in your life. And out I could do that until about 3 or 4 months ago, and I was like, holy shit, I can do that. Because some lady asked me, she said, do you know like what stone would be good for me? So I'm like, okay, well, let me see if Spirit's gonna give it to me. Automatically come to me. And I was like, holy shit, like I know my stones that I usually wear. Like, okay, I brought my wands out for you, by the way. I've got selenite. This is my polished, and this is not.
I can't
So
see you,
this is still
so
tumbled. So you can't see it really good. But anyway, man, I'm having a blonde moment. What was I talking about? Oh, in my crystal readings, I have to look up the meanings and properties of these crystals that I'm given by Spirit, because I can't tell you right off all their properties and how it pertains to you, because they're just not metaphysical properties. It's physical properties, mental properties, spiritual properties. So that's the first thing that I do. I usually keep my phone. I want to get me a book to keep with me when I go on my little adventures, so I can just look it up in my book instead of getting them on my phone and being rude. But they understand pretty much that, you know, what I'm doing. So nobody's ever offended by it. So when that
mhm.
happens, when I have that come through, we are ultimately vessels, okay? We are being led by Spirit, higher being, the divine. Aaron,
Yes,
are you there? You got
I'm
quiet
here.
on me. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, you did. I was just, I didn't want to be, um, I didn't
Stupid?
want to think one thing and it be something else, because I am just,
No.
I'm new, so I'm gonna ask, and because it's, that's what you're here for, and I know that, um, to help me, to
Yeah,
guide me to,
absolutely. And you know what? Yeah, and it goes all back to that self-doubt again too, because when you have these experiences and when you get these messages or notions from spirit, it can be kind of like, oh, well, is that just me making it up, or where the hell is this coming from? Because it's the same thing as reading for people. We're like, oh man, I'm afraid to say certain things to them because I'm afraid it might be wrong, but you're never going to be wrong if you're spirit led.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's some, it's amazing. It's so amazing. You know what? I'm going to be honest, like, you know, the paranormal field I love, and that's where what really, you know, has helped me along so much and meet the people that I need to meet and stuff like that. But, I have discovered the metaphysics path and my healing path. And now with my healing path is healing myself through food and, you know, eating better and holistic healing. I find that people like us, we all correlate. We all have these traits, these same traits. And more healers are coming out. And it's just not from around the world, it's local. Like, there's people connecting to me that are coming out of the woodworks, really. I mean, I met a girl at a essential oils class who ended up, you know, practicing shamanism. I mean, that's what she does. And we was just attracted to each other. It's like, you're the light, and, you know, you follow the light, whether you realize it or not. And I think that when you become awakened, you can look back and you can see your path clearly, and at each moment where you had that connection made, whether it be through a life lesson or through a person.
Right. Absolutely.
So getting into the stones, which is new to you too, you know, the crystals and stuff. I call them stones. Most people call them crystals, but hey, they're so beneficial. And I think it's, you know, there was so much more to the citrine that is what Spirit gave me for you about, God, I can't talk. Anyway, there was a big old huge paragraph. So I don't know if you got to read through all of it and how it pertained to you. But
Actually, oh my God, I did, and I didn't even. You just brought that back to my memory. Actually, a lot of it stood out. You know, it really just hit home for me, and I was, you know, I'm kind of in a new relationship, you know, and I kind of am weak, and you know, and I kind of think, and to be honest with you, I think that's why my spirit guide came through, because he's so stern, he's so strict, he's like a soldier kind of, and
yeah,
I'm more timid, I'm more quiet, I'm soft, you know, I'm labeled as the sweetheart, you know,
you are.
and it's like, you know, and I need that foundation, I need that extra shove, that firmness, you know, I guess, and I think that's why he came through so quickly, because I don't think without him being there saying, you know, you need to do this, you know, when I'm saying that, I don't think so. And he's like, you know, you really
Well,
should.
you had just,
You know?
well, you had just got through asking me, like, because you said, Holly, you know, this guy, he was like Nordic, he come to me, and I was like, spirit guide, you know, automatically, because she was like being bombarded by these spirits, which is usual for healers. But you know, you're always changing. We are always changing. We are not who we are yet. Does that make sense? We
Absolutely.
are always growing, continuously growing and learning. You know, I think when I connected with that and kind of got shown that this is a spirit guide, I think it's funny that he connects with you through meditation the next day. Because we've talked about meditation. I've connected with, I think, what I think is my past life through meditation. And, you know, I say I'm Native American drawn. I think I was Native American in a past life because It's amazing. Oh my God, let me tell you, to be in meditation and be pulled to a place where you are like, you're no longer here on this physical
Mm-hmm.
plane, but you're in your happy place, right? You're in your happy place. And my happy
Absolutely.
place is out in the woods, the trees,
Well,
and
you
it's,
know what? You know what? I don't mean to interrupt you, but it just, I mean, it really blows my mind. I have to tell you this. Okay, it's like my favorite time of the year has always been fall. So I've always loved that time of the year.
me
But I've
too.
always, it's like my, ever since I can remember, it's like my body just come alive in the winter. It was like when the snow fell and it was cold,
Ah,
it was just like, I, I don't know how to explain. Like, I wish I could explain that to you. And I don't know, maybe you can feel that, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like, it was like, that was it for you. That was, in that moment was just like a rebirth kind of thing. And I think he's always been with me. I've just not really um,
connected. Yeah.
connected with him, because now that I think about that, and so many other things, it just started to make sense. I'm like, you know what, this really makes sense. And then today, like I said in meditation, he came to me, and it was kind of awkward because I was kind of like I told you, I was bird's eye view to him.
Yeah.
I was an eagle, and I was just soaring around him, and that's all I could see was him, and I couldn't see anything else. And then we went from that to um, riding a horse. Like, we were just riding, and I don't know where we were going, but I kind of felt like that was the beginning of our journey.
Right.
There's
That's amazing. I
there's
mean,
a
and you
longer path.
yeah, I know. You had asked me. You showed me the book because you keep a journal, and that's another good thing for people to do, which I'm really bad at. I tell other people. I get online and I'm like, "Hey, had this happened and this happened," and I'll just try to remember it. I mean, I've had so many different experiences, but you were like, and I think this is how it's supposed to work because I've had these moments too where like I don't understand this during meditation, and then you're talking to someone and you're like, oh, but I kind of feel like, well, yeah, no shit, Sherlock,
Right.
you know already, you knew
Right.
already, you know,
Right.
but it's like you need to talk to someone before you get it, or you need that validation, and
Yeah.
everybody needs validation. That's totally understandable. I remember, see, my happy place, and your happy place is the place you go to meditate. In everybody's meditation spot, there's always the elements. There's always the four elements: earth, air, fire, water, in some way of nature, because that's how we when we're meditating, we are also, we are rejuvenating ourselves. We are energizing ourselves. I'm always sitting on a huge rock in the middle of the woods. The sun's shining down on me. There's a creek beside me, and it runs past the big rock that I'm sitting on, and I'm always usually just stuck there, sitting on the rock and just looking around and enjoying it and feeling the sun down on me. And then I love Native American flute, and I listen to that during
Mm-hmm.
meditation, but not all the time. And I wasn't this time. I was sitting on the rock, and I start hearing the pan flute, and I'm looking around. I open my eyes in my house to look around and be like, where the hell's that coming from? And it wasn't really there, so I went back into meditation and I just followed it, and there was a trail. I saw a trail, so I walked up the trail, and I saw this Native American, very beautiful woman dancing around a fire, and there was a male Native American there. So I'm assuming that I was looking at myself in a past life. um, and no, it was amazing because during meditation you get pulled. You're physically here, but you're spiritually not here. um, and it's amazing. When I do remote viewings, same thing happens. Physically here, but spiritually I get pulled to that location. I just done a remote view for a friend in Iowa, and I was right on details, and it's amazing how that happens, and
Did
how
she
we
have? Did
can
she?
use it
I gotta
to help
interrupt you
people.
for a moment. Did she have long black? Did she have black hair? Like long black hair? Like was
See,
she
I
wearing like
don't.
See, I don't know. It's like I kind of get an image when you were talking about her. I don't know. was kind of like, you know, she kind of, and of course, you know, that's, you're gonna say, well, that's normal. Every Indian has, you know, black hair.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it was
You're talking
like
about the Native American, yeah.
kind of like it's a different color stone like she had on her dress. Like it wasn't the normal color, like the I don't even know what color to call it. Like
Turquoise
it's
is
not
what
that.
they
It's
usually,
a
yeah.
different color. Like it was a darker like a green almost. Like it was uh like a teardrop dress. You ever seen one of those? The Native Americans, they make them for um like ceremonies for like death ceremonies and stuff. It's kind of what it looks like.
Um, I'll have
I
to
don't
look
know.
it up. Sorry.
You'll have to look it up because and the only reason I know that is because I had an aunt who made one for my great grandma's funeral. She wore one actually, and it's kind of what it put me in the mind of. And she kind of, yeah, that's really all I got from her. Like I could see that. That
Yeah.
was pretty cool. Actually, that was really cool, but that was really neat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's amazing, and see that's how this is the same thing when you read for people or when you're connecting for people, is they'll just start talking about something and you'll start getting information. You know, um, I remember, oh my God, there's so many times that I've remembered stuff, but one of the like scary moments, and it wasn't scary because of what I was experiencing, but this is how outside of your body that you become. I was sensing a presence around me, and I closed my eyes to connect with this presence, and it was this older lady, but it wasn't me connecting to her in my house. She pulled me away. I was pulled out, and I was in a whole different place. I was walking through a field, saw this fence, walked to a gazebo, and she told me to look at him. And I turned to look, and there was a man standing there, and she said something else. But about that same time, one of my youngins comes and picks on my shoulder. And I was like, ah! But that's how
No,
out of it you are. That's how spiritually you are separated from your physical body, because I mean it's amazing. And you know what irks me
absolutely.
is to hear people say, how could this happen scientifically? It cannot happen. Science bullshit. Science bullshit. I'm sorry people, but that's the way I feel about it, because listen, I'm not one of these people that could say I done this when I was little, although I don't remember a lot of my childhood. And actually, I met some people that have theories on that too, Aaron, because I know I've told you about it, that I don't remember a lot of my childhood.
I don't need, you know what, and that just you and I are so alike. It's almost like you know, we're like one almost. You know, like we're kind of like, it's kind of like a brother and sister kind of thing. You know, it's like, you know, some days
Right.
I can be thinking about you, and bam, I get a message on Facebook, or you know, it's just little things like that, and then you know, and then these little things that, you know, when we talk, we connect on that level, and it's just like, it's still, I mean, I don't care. I'll be 100 years old, and it'll still blow my mind if, you know, we're both alive at that time. I mean, it still will. But let me ask you, I want to ask you to do this, because what I need validation on this. um and I don't know if you can, but you can try for me if you will. um the very first day that I got to Michigan, and I walked in to this house, and automatically I sensed a presence. Now I don't know um, who it is specifically. I kind of stay
Is
out
it
of their area because they don't like me to be in the basement. That's where they stay, so I stay out of there.
okay?
And
Is this a male? Do you know?
um, I've kind of thought so. I kind of get that feeling
Okay,
like,
because I'm getting a male energy, and I'm also getting older male, and I'm also getting that this is one of them grounds I'm saying.
Right.
So I don't know if you have
Well, see,
information to connect with that.
there was a guy who passed away here. He was the owner of the home.
Oh, okay.
And so, see, I kind of thought it was him, but I can't. It won't let me connect with it because it's afraid. I think it's
Right.
afraid I'm gonna cross it over. And
welcome to the healing world, honey.
I think that's the thing with it. It's like, I can come home from work and walk through the door, and I can just look down in the basement, and it's like, hell no, get the fuck out of here! Don't come around me.
Right.
I'm like, okay,
yeah.
I'm just going through the door. I mean, you're good. Stay right where you are. And
yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it's not nothing to worry about. I was just kind of curious of maybe if you could pick up on that because it won't let me connect with him necessarily. So
I get the male energy very strongly, actually,
absolutely.
and it's a one of those set in their way kind of men. So it makes perfect sense. But Aaron, you brought up a really good point. As healers, bad shit runs from us. Spirits who do not understand or and that's another thing about being crossed over, by the way, but they tend to move away from us because they feel like that we're going to keep them out. Okay, for instance, this man right here is stuck at his home because that is where he wants to be. I feel like this man, and when he was living, he was one of those, this is my house, this is, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of like the movie Up, Up, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where he's like, fuck that, I'm not leaving my house. So his energy is probably always going to be there, and that's okay. I mean,
that's okay. Yeah.
Wouldn't bother them. Yeah, because I have this thing: if spirits want to be crossed over, which people, let me give you some schooling. By crossed over or healing, I mean that they are no longer stuck on this plane of existence. They are able to travel where they need to go, and they can come back as they please. So, I mean, I hate when people are like, spirits being crossed over to, the Golden Gates or whatever. But, now it's different if I say I am going to be crossing over, or, I'm removing a negative entity. Now they are gone. They are put back into, I give it to Mother Earth. I always push my bad energy down into Mother Earth. And that's the same thing when you're grounding. When you're letting all that negativity go, you give it to Mother Earth because that's the most purest. I've had people who've actually have tested me on my healing, even when and it's funny because you start doing things and you don't understand how you're doing them because you have no knowledge of it. When I first removed my first negative entity attachment, I had to look up afterwards if I was how the hell I did that and if I was doing it right. The truth is, when you're being spirit led and think of it this way: how the hell did I do that? I'm spirit led. That's because I am a vessel. I'm a tool of use for. I'm a tool.
Right.
It's wild. It's amazing. And I have to give a shout out real quick to Chris, who's watching. I love you and thank you so much for supporting me, Chris. That's my youngin' right there. So, I get preachy. I'm sorry, Aaron. But this has been a good show, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is like, it shouldn't end, but I guess we should probably. It's been about an hour, so you don't feel like it though.
No, it doesn't. Does not at all.
No.
But we learn every time we put our heads together. So that's what matters.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I agree. I always talk about having soul sisters, and I definitely have soul brothers. And me and you have a unique connection, and it's just not a teacher-student kind of thing. You know, it's a connection that I'll always have with you, I do believe, and you know, we're always going to be helping each other. Anybody that I can, yeah, good one there, Jonah. Anybody that I connect with, you know, you have that lifelong connection when they're pure of heart, when they have good intentions, and you see them for who they are. I was talking to Aaron, and we're thinking about doing this together, maybe once a month, or even, you know, just whenever we feel like it. Maybe me and you can come on and have certain topics to discuss. But
Absolutely.
I feel like this has been a really good show, and there's so much more we could talk about.
Absolutely. You know what? And Holly, I can't see that it doesn't show up that there's anybody watching specifically. I can't see that, but I feel like that there is. I need to say this before we end anything.
Oh man, let's do it.
I feel like that there is somebody watching. There's something specifically going on with you. I won't say what, but I will tell you to trust your gut, to go with it, and everything will be absolutely okay. I don't know. Don't ask me where this is coming from. It's just kind of what I'm feeling right now. I kind of feel like you're overwhelmed. I kind of feel like there's a lot on you. I think you just need to find time to bring yourself back down. Just center yourself. I mean, I don't know what you believe in or, you know, anything like that. Obviously, if you're watching Holly and I, then, you know, you're kind of screwed up like us. But anyway.
Well, you're not screwed up. You know what? Anybody who is watching that might have had just found us. I mean, I don't know who's watching. I mean, I know one person's watching. I mean, there's two people. There's two people watching. But I'm not sure exactly.
I can't see that. That's why I wanted to clarify that for whoever's watching it, because I don't want you to think that, oh, look, I see somebody on there and I'm going to make myself
No,
look cool.
I've got control over everything because this is on my YouTube. You know, the amazing thing about me and Aaron is that when we get together, there's a whole lot of healing that goes on. So I feel like maybe, you know, Aaron, if we could get together, you know, pretty often on here, maybe once a month, maybe twice a month or whatever it is, and do healing shows, you know, just connect with people who are watching, because that's how it happens. And we are able to connect and help you. And Aaron, that's exactly what you're doing right now, is connecting with someone and helping them.
That's what I do, obviously.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like I said 1,000 times, it's new to me. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I've been led to do. So I just hope that something that I say can help somebody grow or achieve something that they're looking to achieve, or I don't know, maybe open up to their spiritual gift or whatever's going on with them. But
yeah, and I'd also like to say, ever who's watching, if you don't mind commenting on the video to let us know if that pertains to either one of you, we'd really appreciate it, and that'd be very validating for Aaron. And I don't know, Aaron, I had a feeling that tonight would be healing for somebody.
You know, and I still I don't know. I still, you know, I feel that or not, but I feel that, you know. I just feel like
you feel like, Aaron. All right, we might have lost you. Aaron, are you there? All right, we've lost Aaron. I hope you guys have enjoyed this show, I'm not sure what this show is. I mean, this is what it is. Like I said, I have a podcast. It's called Rising from the Ashes Radio. It airs every Wednesday at 9 p.m. December's kind of been me letting loose. That's my youngin' in the background. I've started doing these Google Hangouts and live streams, and I'm really loving it. So if you guys like it and you want to see more of it, I can see who I can get on here and you know, look at, and I'm not always going to be this pretty. I'm joking. I've been messing around today, so I actually do have makeup on. So y'all are, just be happy for that. But thank you so much, Aaron, for coming on with me tonight and discussing Awakened Healers. And I love it. I love it. You, Aaron, he is just one of them pure souls, you know, like a brother from another mother. I just got a ding. I don't know what that was. But anyway, you guys have a great night. And again, whoever was watching tonight, if you can validate some things for us that Aaron picked up on, that would be awesome. And you want to say hi, Jonah?
Hi and bye.
Thank you guys for watching. And if you like I said, if you want more of it, look me up on Facebook. It's Holly Mullins. I'm about to max out on my friends, so if you're new to me, you better hurry, jump on it. Bye, guys.
Oh, Holly.